it was a resilient win from Manchester United, a collective one, because they didn't play their best stuff. It was one where they needed to stick together, especially after conceding and going 1-0. And Villa were really pushing for this victory at Villa Park. And Villa needed a win here specifically because of that midweek loss in the FA Cup to Chelsea. And before that, after beating Sheffield United, they lost again at Villa Park against Newcastle. So Unai Emery has needed a win here from Villa's boys. But let's get back to United. It's a very important victory, because these are the type of victories that Manchester United need to do, not just to climb up the table, not just try and fight for a Champions League spot and so on, but it's also to make sure that the club under Erik ten Hag, especially in transition, remains together. And there was nothing flashy about it. Like I said, it was a team performance. I thought Garnacho did his bit. Kobbie Mainoo, the 18-year-old, was fantastic, and so was Hojlund, who has turned over a new page. He just keeps scoring and scoring. And against my own luck, he keeps scoring against Aston Villa. But it's been a tremendous run of form for the young striker. So it's a very good, very important victory for Manchester United.
Yeah, let's stick with the Rasmus Hojlund factor if we can, because obviously he got the opening goal today. I saw that at 21 years old and 7 days, he's the second youngest ever player to score in 5 successive Premier League appearances since Nicolas Anelka did it back in 1998. We're going way back there. It all does seem to be down to a new confidence and belief he's got in himself, LME.
Yeah, I think it's the confidence part, Kate, but I also think it's the delivery part. I just don't think he was getting enough support from the width. He wasn't getting enough support as he was making those runs in the boxes. Hojlund is a very young player, but he's smart. He knows how to move, specifically of set pieces, specifically when United are going on the counter. And for a very long time, United weren't giving him that kind of service. Of course, we know the inconsistencies with Anthony. Marcus Rashford had a rough spell as well. Garnacho even took him a while to get going. But look what's happened now. Now players are getting in. Of course, the return of Luke Shaw, albeit he came off injured for the second half. But those wingers, those fullbacks, that support from the width in the counter, because it's a really important part of Erik ten Hag's system, is now making him feel, like you said, more confident. And it's important because this is a young striker. Manchester United fans can't expect that he's going to turn into Ruud van Nistelrooy, in the space of a season. But as he keeps getting confident, as he keeps getting support, the goals will come, as they did today in the opener, as you said.
And the goals will come if Scott McTominay comes on the pitch. What about the little clutch gene in this player, Luis?
Yeah, I mean, he's just Mr. Clutch. There's always been a little bit of criticism, I feel, from Scott McTominay, because he's not quite a superstar and he's not quite a below average player, but he gives it 100%, whether he starts a game, whether he gives you 20 minutes, which is why, obviously the conversations of getting that new contract, because Erik ten Hag knows how important a player like Scott McTominay can be when he comes on. And it was a fantastic second goal from Manchester United at a time when Villa just kept pushing, right? Mainoo held it so beautifully. I mean, 18 years old, and he's so calm under pressure. Feeds it to Dalot with a fantastic cross. And there's Scott McTominay with a great header that goes above Diego Carlos, and Manchester United win 2-1. It seems to be the case every time when United just need that extra spark, Scott McTominay can come in. Let's see if Scotland can do the same thing. He can do the same thing for Scotland at the Euros.
Yeah, and you're saying that he can come in and do that, but it also does seem to be the case that United have found a way to get these wins lately. What do you think that's down to?
Again, I think it begins with this need to collectively be better. And here's another one. For a long time, there was a lot of pressure on Bruno Fernandes to just be that guy, right? Be the guy that everybody relies on. And in many occasions, Casemiro as well. That's why he came here. But he's aging. He's not getting any faster or any younger. So United, Erik ten Hag, has needed his young players to just stand up. And that's exactly what's happening. I just talked about Kobbie Mainoo, the tremendous 18-year-old. But Alejandro Garnacho, he just doesn't stop running, doesn't stop flowing. Some of his dribbling today, inverted wing runs, cutting inside and nearly scoring. Those are very important as well. And just people willing to step up, Kay. I mean, Liche Martinez's injury now out for a few months was significant. And Varane and Harry Maguire, who also played well today, he had to work very hard to run alongside Ollie Watkins. Everybody's just stepping up. And listen, so much criticism for Andre Onana, and rightly so in many ways. But when he steps up, and he made some key saves today.
Yeah, he really did. I can't have been good though for Ten Hag to have to see Luke Shaw get injured.
Yeah, Luke shows a big absence. Let's hope it's not for a long period of time, but like, he just doesn't seem to find that consistent time during the season where he can produce. But like on his day, he's England's left back starting left back. He's obviously the one for Manchester United as well. And his penetrating runs going forward, his ability to cover, his ability to protect, and his ability to assist is really, really important. So Manchester United, Erik ten Hag, the fans, they'll hope that Luke Shaw will not be out for that long.
Speaking of which, the England manager was in the stands today. Who do you think he was having a look at?
Well, he wasn't looking at any Villa players, that's for sure. He never picks Ezri Konsa. He never picks Ollie Watkins. No, I'm just kidding. I think he was probably looking at a few. But I tell you something, some of those young players, specifically Mainu in the middle, were really impressing me to be. And I think he wanted to just check on the likes of somebody like Harry Maguire. Of course, Jacob Ramsey from Aston Villa, started today for the first time in a long time. So there's a lot of players there. But Gareth Southgate, he was Aston Villa's captain a long time ago, specifically during the Euro 96. So there is a little bit of history with him. But don't expect any flowers being thrown his way at Villa Park anytime soon.
No, I don't think it was the warmest of welcomes either, was it? Which was quite a surprise too. Just a quick more point on United, because then I do want to get the Villa angle from it as well. So what does this mean for them? What do you think when it comes to this great run of form we've seen from them in 2024? Obviously, belief running in the side now. What's their ceiling this season? What are we looking at?
Well, I tell you something. You have to look first at the statistics and just the pure facts. Manchester United got this win today, and now, because of that win, they are sixth in the Premier League. But most importantly, they're now 5 points away from Aston Villa in fifth place and 6 points away from a Champions League spot. And that's pretty much everything Erik ten Hag needs to tell his team, and he's going to do it. We keep climbing, we keep moving. No matter what injuries you happen, no matter what absences we get, we just have to keep climbing up the table. I think that's the most important thing. And then when I look at overall their statistics and the fixtures, that win against Wolves, the win against West Ham, beating Newport County in the FA Cup fourth round, drawing against Tottenham, and then that win against Wigan Athletic in January. They are undefeated, Kay, in the year of 2024. And I think that's something that Erik ten Hag is going to remind Manchester United fans. Like, I know there's a lot of questions. I know there's a lot of issues with the Glazer family and everything that's going on, and question marks about where Manchester United is going. But in 2024, they remain undefeated.
Yeah, this was a good game to watch today. Maybe not for those who had a horse in the race, but for the neutral especially. It felt like when Hojlund's goal went in, that was deserved. But then when we saw the equaliser, it felt that was deserved. Then we saw this new energy come from Villa. But it just seemed that they've lost their rhythm of late. Like, what's going on there, and what's that down to?
I think it's a few things. I think number one, we cannot ignore the fact that Pau Torres and Ezri Konsa being injured is a massive, massive significance for Aston Villa. Everything pretty much begins with that three centre-back line. And when you remove the two best players defensively from that, then you're going to have a problem. But no excuses, because other teams have gone through injuries and absences as well. I think the other component, Kay, is that, honestly, teams during the season go through a rut. They just do. Tottenham did. Arsenal did for many times, specifically last season, including Liverpool as well. Manchester City did as well. And Manchester United, Villa's opponent today. And I think this is Villa's rot right now. But I think when you look back at the tape of today, you will see that from the moment Villa conceded, they were the better team. Mm-hmm. And they were pushing. They just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. And Ollie Watkins is the only sole striker right now in the entire squad of Aston Villa. Jon Haver Duran is injured until April. So these are issues. But I think when Unai Emery looks at the tape specifically today, he'll think we played some good stuff. It's just that we couldn't finish. So the hope is that the rot, the bad momentum will end, and then Villa can just keep climbing, because it has been a tremendous season, fifth for Aston Villa right now. That still could be a Champions League spot, but there's plenty of football left to be played, Kay Murray. You know that, I know that, Unai Emery knows that.
Yeah, it might be a rut, but there's still just a point outside of that top four as well. So it's not the worst place to be either, is it?